Hey, what's up? This is Eric with Painting Business Pro. Today, I just wanted to talk to you guys about sales. We've been covering systems for the last few videos, and this one was a lot harder for me to decide what to talk about because sales I could talk about for days. And actually, when I train sales reps, or people to do sales, it's probably about a 12-hour training process in the classroom, and then I train people in the field. So it's a really in-depth thing to train. And as we've talked about already, we covered we covered the marketing system on how to consistently generate leads. We covered the we covered the production system on how to really simply produce jobs. So hopefully by now you can see how easy it actually is to generate potential clients through marketing, through buying leads, or door to door, which I haven't covered. And then the production system, how easy it is to actually produce. So really, the missing link here is the sales system. And there's no way I'm going to be able to cover all of it in these videos, but I am going to try and give you some really good, useful stuff. And then, as I've said before, if you want to get the actual course, easypaintingbiz.com, um, there's a lot of details in sales there. And then later on, I'm going to be putting out some more stuff like my training, actually me training my sales reps and things like that in the next few months. So that's all coming. So before we kind of get into the call here, because what we're going to cover today is just the initial call. That seemed to be the most obvious place to start. Is after you've gotten a customer who is interested in getting an estimate, the first thing you're going to do is do an initial phone call with them to schedule the estimate. And so that's what we're going to cover today, is just the script that we use to schedule estimates. Before we get into that, I just wanted to cover these few things with you. So first, this is all stuff we've covered in previous videos, but first, people buy because these are the four criteria. Like, these are the four criteria you need to meet with your customer for them to sign with you. So first, they need to be painting this year. If they're not painting their house this year, they're not going to sign until they're sure they're painting. Two, they got what they need and want. If you don't get them what they need and want, you won't get the job. If you get them exactly what they need and want, you've got the second piece down. Three, they trust you or they're comfortable with you. If you got all the other three pieces but they don't trust you, that you're not going to get the job. That's a really critical piece. Number four, that the price is fair. That doesn't mean you're the lowest price. It just needs to be a fair price. And all four of these things are important. If you're missing any one of these pieces, you won't get the job. Another thing that we covered before is that most other contractors suck. Standing out from the competition is easy. Very, very easy. And you'll see just in the script how much we've already separated ourselves from most contractors just in the way that we schedule our estimates. And then the other thing to remember is that it's all about the customer, their needs and wants before yours. You do not matter. Put the customer first. So I think the quote was, when you put the customer before the sale, you will sell any more than anyone else out there, is a quote. So really make sure you put your customer first. So we're going to get into this initial call. So this is the call. This is our script. So we're going to kind of go through this, and as we go through, I'm going to make some comments on different pieces. So obviously, starting the call, hey, is Dan there? Hey, Dan. Hey, this is Eric with Foothills Painting. We stopped by last weekend to see if you'd like a free estimate on your house. Do you remember that? So right here, that's obviously a door-to-door lead. So if you were buying leads, you'd say, hey, this is Eric with Foothills Painting. I got your information from painterchoice.com that you were interested in a free estimate on your house. Do you remember that? Great. Well, I was just calling to schedule a time for the estimate, but first, can you tell me a little bit about what you're looking to get done? So this is an important question. You want to make sure that you're asking an open-ended question. You want to make sure that this first question you're asking is a question that is going to get them talking. So for example, you'll see this second question, do you know when your home was last painted? That would be a bad first question because it doesn't get people talking. It's a one-word answer. Do you know when your house was last painted? 7 years ago. Are you planning on having the entire house painted or just certain areas? The whole house. Have you noticed any areas where the paint's fading or peeling? Yes, we've noticed peeling. Will we be keeping the same colors? Yes. So if you only ask these questions, you're not going to really get a huge interaction with the customer. So I always start with Can you tell me a little bit about what you're looking to get done? And then you got to listen really intently. Repeat back to them, ask questions to ensure you know exactly what they're wanting to get done. So, for example, someone's, well, actually, we'll get into that examples in another video, um, and we'll just make sure we get through the script now. But essentially, you just really want to repeat back and literally say, okay, cool, so you're just looking to get the whole outside done, nothing crazy, because you guys are planning on moving? Okay, great. So I literally repeat it back to them to make sure that I heard exactly what they want done. And then these are some other questions I always like to know. When was it last painted? You planning on getting the whole house done or just certain areas? Have you noticed that there's any peeling or fading or cracking? Where have you noticed those things? Great, we'll definitely take a look at that at the estimate. You know, you plan on changing colors or keeping the same colors. So essentially at the beginning of this call, we are just asking questions right here. This is all questions just to kind of find out what their needs and wants are so that we can fulfill on those needs and wants. The last question, and this is a really critical one, is I was curious when exactly you're hoping to get the work done. Now this is really important for a couple reasons. One is it's going to really gauge the sale for you. Like if they need to get this done next week, that's going to change everything, you know, versus if they're planning on getting it done in like 4 months. Most people are going to be pretty flexible. But the other really important reason I ask this question is it leads in to this point right here, which is what I call a pre-close. A pre-close is basically where you're asking for the job before you're actually asking for the job. So you'll see right here, it says, lastly, I was curious when you were hoping to get the work done. They say, well, like early May. Okay, great. The reason I ask is we're actually trying to fill up some of our upcoming spots in our schedule in May. So if you guys are happy with everything and you actually decide you want to paint with me, I'll save you some money if you're willing to schedule for May, because that would really help us out with our schedule. Would that work for you? Like, would that be something you'd be interested in? If everything worked out, would you be able to do May? You would. Okay, great. Well, then I'll definitely be able to save you some money. All right. So that right there is the pre-close. And the reason you always do the pre-close is because it takes people, it changes their mindset. First, their mindset is getting an estimate. And getting an estimate has nothing to do with signing a contract. Getting an estimate is just getting an estimate. But when you ask this question and you start to talk to people about saving money and about scheduling with us and painting with us and making a decision, all of a sudden, the way they're approaching the estimate is not just getting an estimate and getting a number, but now they're going to start evaluating me and if they want to hire me or not. And literally, my customers will ask me questions that they would only ask if they were really considering hiring you. And if you're just going out there just doing estimates and you're not closing like this, people are just, they're not going to take the estimate as seriously. They're not in the mindset to buy. So this kind of puts people in a mindset to buy, and it gives them a financial incentive to do that. You know, because we're saving, you know, I can definitely save you some money if you're willing to schedule, you know, for May. All right, great. And then I say, you know, so I wrap that up, and then I say, okay, so I just want to let you know how I do my estimates before we schedule. So I schedule my estimates for 1.5 hour blocks, and I only need you guys for the first 15 to 20 minutes and the last 15 minutes of the estimate. For the first 15 minutes, I just want to sit down with you and get to know, you know, what you're looking for, like the warranty, colors, cover some basic things like that. But most importantly, I'd like to take a quick walk around the house to look at some of those problem areas that you mentioned and let you know what I'd recommend doing for those. And I can also work up a bunch of different options for you as we walk around the house. And then once we're done, I'll spend 20 or 30 minutes myself walking around the house, getting my measurements, and actually writing the estimate up and all those different options we talk about. And then for the last 15 minutes, I'll come back inside and sit down with you. I can run you through everything that I worked up, make sure that I got everything that you're looking for, and I can answer any other questions that you might have. And then we can kind of see where you'd like to go from there. Does that sound good? Okay, great. So, is there anyone else who have any input on the estimate, the colors, or what's being painted? All right, pause. So before we move into this part of the call, I just want to recap a couple things here. So this is really, really important. Every piece so far is actually important. This first section, we're finding out what they need and want, which is this one right here. And then The next one we're going to be doing is this process here. This is incredibly detailed. This is what customers want in an estimate, even if they don't know that this is what they want. What they want is someone who's a professional, who's knowledgeable, to come in and give them honest recommendations about what to do for their home, give them a number of different options so they can choose from, and then someone who's going to sit there and answer their questions and support them and not pressure them. So you'll notice in here there's going to be lots of like closes and talking to them about scheduling, but it's not pressure, and I never pressure because I don't believe in really pressuring people on sales. I think you lose more sales from doing that than you gain. So anyway, so this is important because I think it actually, when you explain this estimate process in detail, people are actually excited for the estimate because of the detail that you're going to be covering in the estimate. The thing that's going through their head is like they're excited, like they're gonna get everything. Like it's an overwhelming and stressful thing taking on home improvement projects. So to hear someone be this detailed and this thorough to come and take on a project gets people really excited for the estimate. So I see a lot of people getting started out have a lot of customers reschedule on them or cancel or not show to the estimate. That never happens to me because I'm giving people what they want and need in the estimate. So they want to do the estimate. It's not about me. This estimate's about them. All right, great. So this is obviously really big. And then it also sets us up for when we get to the estimate. It gives us an opportunity to really effectively like walk around the house and customize it and do a really excellent job for the customer at the estimate because we've set clear expectations. So the next little piece here is, so is there anyone else who will be having any input on the estimate, the colors, or what's being painted? Um, I don't say decision maker because that's a turn-off word, but they'll usually say, yeah, my wife, or yeah, my husband. Okay, great. Well, I definitely like to schedule a time where you can both, be at the estimate because we're spending a lot of time, and I really want to make sure I get you both what you're looking for and answer all your guys' questions. So can we schedule a time where you're both available? Usually they say yes. If they say no to this question, if they say no, that's fine. Even if you know they have a husband or wife, if they say no, that means no one else has any input. Like, they have input, but like they don't need to be at the estimate. So respect their no if they're no. Okay, great. So, can we schedule a time you're both available? Yeah, we can try. Okay, great. Do you have a calendar nearby? I always ask this question because if they don't have a calendar nearby, they will go get one. You don't need to ask them to, they'll just do it. And then I kind of break it down with questions. Do you prefer the weekday or weekends? Okay, great. Saturday or Sunday better for you? Morning or afternoon? How about 10 a.m. Saturday? Figure out your time however you would like. Okay, so I have Saturday, February 21st at 10 a.m. And I have your address is 775 Meadowlark Lane. Okay, great. And I'd like to give you my phone number real quick. Do you have a pen and paper? All right, so here's my phone number. I'd also like to give you our website. Here's our website. Okay, great. And also, I'm going to give you a call on Thursday or Friday just to confirm that time, Saturday morning at 10 a.m. still works. Does that sound good? Okay, great. So I'll call you on this phone number. Is this the best number to reach you at? Perfect. Okay, so one last thing. When I come out to do the estimate, the Saturday, if I get everything you guys are looking for, you like the price, if you guys actually want to schedule with me on that day, I can save you some extra money if you guys decide to do that because that would really help me out. So definitely keep that in mind. And do you have any other questions for me now? Okay, great. I'll look forward to seeing you on Saturday at 10 a.m. All right, bye-bye. And that's the end of the phone call. So once we've confirmed that we have all the people to be at the estimate, then we get into the scheduling aspect of it and exchanging information to make sure that's all good. And then letting them know we do a confirmation call. And then we just have this one last thing. Like, hey, this is not a pressure close. This is like, hey, if you're already, like, set the discount aside. If I come out to do this estimate and you are happy with the estimate, you're happy with the price, you're happy with everything, you're like, let's do this, I'll knock some extra money off because that would be really great for me. So it's not like we offer a 10% for this day only. Because the truth is, when I get out to the estimate, if I finish the estimate and they say, cool, well, we need to think about it, and I ask them, what do you need to think about? And they tell me that they just need to check over their finances and they can get back to me in 3 days, I say, okay, cool, you can let me know by Wednesday? All right, great. Well, I'll just hold this discount for you till Wednesday, and if you can just let me know by Wednesday, I'll give you this lowest price. Because I'm on the same side with my customers. I really give that discount if they work with me. You know, as long as they're not like if they just call me and they say they're gonna call me, like I'll give them a discount because most customers don't even do that. So so that's effectively the initial call script. Down here, you can see I've got a confirmation call script and the callbacks just for follow up. But this is the script. I use exactly the script. You know, you see I changed some words here and there, but this is exactly the script I use to schedule the estimates that I do. And just this year, I closed I think 71% of my estimates this year, or something like that. It was up between 65 and 75 when I ended. And this is the exact script I use to set up every single one of my estimates. And I'll tell you one thing is for sure. I I book jobs with my initial call. Like people are already ready to go with me when I get to their house based on how I do this phone call. So you know, and I've obviously been doing it for 8 years. But that's the call. So what I'll do is I'm gonna save this initial call script for you, and I'm gonna attach this below the video on the website at paintingbusinesspro.com. So this will be under the video, this initial call script, and I'm gonna cover a little bit more about sales over the course of the next few months, but I'm not certainly gonna be able to cover it all. So if you're really serious about doing this, the marketing aspect of the business, as we've shown, is really simple. The production can be really simple. Sales is the tough one. So if you're really serious about taking it on, I would encourage you to get the course I made on sales and setting that aside, I'd like to make a video shortly covering just frequently asked questions. So, respond to the email that you got, and please let me know what questions you have or what you'd like to learn more about the painting business. And the next video I make is going to be answering your questions. So, let me know what those are, and let me know what you got out of this video. And we'll talk to you next time. Thanks.